study is one of the most common topics in speaking part 1 of the IELTS exam. So, let's look at the questions and answers with us, Lan and Dario. So, Dario, are you working or are you a student?
Well, currently, I'm an employee at an entertainment agency called At Live Productions, and I am occupying the position of male singer, which actually I've been working as a singer for 15 years. So, what about you?
Well, at the moment, I'm an IELTS teacher and I'm self employed. I've been in this position for 5 years now, and I intend to continue doing this job for the foreseeable future.
Now, what if you were a high school student? How would you answer this question, though?
So if I were a high school student, my answer would go something like this. Right now, I am a senior at a high school in Ho Chi Minh City, and I will be graduating next year. After that, I plan to get a bachelor's degree in marketing.
And I just noticed that if you are a student, your answer should be more focused on present and future tenses. Or if you're a person that works, like us, for example, right? Your answer will be more focused on present, present perfect continuous, and present perfect tenses, and also, of course, past tenses as well. So you should definitely have that in mind when you're giving an answer to these kind of questions.
Yeah, it only makes sense, right? Because when you're a
Mm,
student, you're focusing on your future. You haven't worked yet,
mm,
right? But
mm.
when we have been in employment for some years, then it's obvious that we should be talking about like our experiences, right? Our work experience, and all the things that we have done. Now, Dario, what did you study at school?
I did a major in IT, and the subjects that I was studying were related to software development and web development. It started quite easygoing at the beginning, but things became much more challenging and intimidating later on. Luckily, though, I was able to pull it off. So, what about you?
As for me, the field that I chose to pursue at university was not at all related to what I am doing now. Specifically, I chose to pursue a bachelor's degree in accountancy. I would say that I didn't have much difficulty pursuing this field because I have a head for figures and I was able to grasp all the lessons quite easily.
Well, that's amazing. You sound like a very smart person yourself. Which, by the way, it brings me a little bit of call of attention that in your answer you use this phrase, head for figures. What does that even mean?
When a person has a head for figures, it means that you're good with numbers and doing calculations. So you would be good at, subjects like math, physics, or other kinds of science subjects.
I mean, not a phrase that I use for myself, but thank you for the input.
So the third question is, why did you choose that major?
I picked IT because since a very young age, I was always drawn to technology in general. One of my earliest memories with technology was how I learned how to disassemble my computer in order to upgrade its components. A lot of people may find this task quite challenging and even intimidating. However, I really, really enjoyed the process. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to study IT. What about you?
If we're talking about accountancy, then I think the major reason why I picked this field was because a lot of people, including my friends, my family, and my teachers, kept telling me that this field has great career prospects, which means that I would be able to land a high paying job if I were to pick this field.
Now, what about teaching? Why did you decide to change your career to teaching?
I think I was working in an accounting firm for maybe a year when I realized that the corporate environment was not for me anymore and wanted a change. At the same time, I knew from experiences explaining things to my friends or my colleagues that I had a knack for explaining things. That's why I considered teaching as a job and I decided to make the switch.
That's amazing. And I totally relate to it. So, yeah.
So you did mention that you went into IT during university years. So was it a difficult major to study?
Well, totally. Like I said in my previous answer, it started very easy at the beginning, but later on things became very challenging to the point of me wanting to drop out. So that's how intense things got. Now, what about you?
I can totally relate because, like many other university students, I also had the expectation of spending the next 4 years in university just chilling, right? Because we had already tried really hard to get into a good school. That's why nothing really prepared me for all the sleepless nights cramming for exams or meeting the deadlines.
Yeah, that sounds tough. I mean, and it was tough at its time. So, yeah.
So, Dario, what was your favorite subject at school?
Well, my favorite subject at school was definitely coding. The reason why I love this subject so much was because I really enjoyed learning lines of codes and keywords as well that you needed to memorize in order to understand and to use. And the other reason that I loved it, right? It's going to be a little bit weird, but I really loved how aesthetically pleasant the lines of code will look in the computer. And of course, at the end of the creation, you will run the program and it will work. And that's one of the motives that make me fall in love with coding.
Well, I've never learned how to code, but from your description, I can see the beauty of it. It's kind of like building a house, right? You start from scratch, and through your effort and time, you create something beautiful, right?
Yeah, totally. And what about yourself, though? What was your favorite subject at school?
As far as accounting goes, I got to learn many interesting subjects at school. However, the one that stood out the most to me was a subject called management accounting. This subject taught me how to interpret accounting information and make strategic decisions for the company. So I thought it would be very useful for me in my future career.
Wow, that sounds actually very interesting. Hmm.
Okay, so the next question is the complete opposite of the previous one. What was your least favorite subject?
Well, the least favorite subject title will definitely go to project management. Oh my God. I didn't like it because of one major reason. Specifically, the fact that there were way too many protocols and rules to follow that quickly turned it into a tedious and theoretical subject. So that's definitely the only reason why I didn't like that
I
subject.
mean, I myself hate the theory heavy subjects as well because not only are they very heavy going to begin with, but it is almost impossible to apply the things that I've learned at school to real life in the future. I'm thinking about this one subject called commercial law. I have nothing against law or legal terms and stuff, but there's just too much stuff to cram, and I don't see myself using that knowledge in my future career.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. Remember that we are Dung and Dario. And if you like the content that we are posting for you guys, please don't forget to subscribe, share it with your friends, and hit the like button. In that way, you will help us tremendously. So, thank you so much in advance. So, stay tuned for the next episode coming right up next Friday at 8 p.m. Vietnam time. So, see you till then.